Hi folks, welcome back to Buddhi Finance Academy. Today we will be discussing on Shivalik Bimetal Controls Limited. But before we proceed, a quick disclaimer: I am not a SEBI registered analyst. Whatever the companies are going to discuss are purely for educational purpose. So the Shivalik Bimetal stock says the growth story has stalled. Do the numbers actually say the business is successfully engineering a high margin escape from commodity volatility? So it posted 9% year-on-year growth, revenue reaching to 134 crores. Yet the headline masks a massive profitability surge. Its operating profit hit 32 crores with EBITDA margins expanding 400 basis points to 24%. While the 9 months volume growth remained a tepid at 3%, the bottom line was salvaged by a mix shift where high value components reached approximately 63% of revenue. So the real tension, management is aggressively pivoting towards a forward integrated assembly model that offers 10 times 15 times higher top line realization but risks cannibalizing pristine percentage margins for the sake of absolute profit scale. So Shivalik Bimetal is not a generic metal processor. It is a precision bonding specialist sitting at the decision point of electrical safety. They specialize in electron beam welding, a process that joins dissimilar metals with surgical accuracy to manage heat and measure current. So think of Shivalik bimetal as the nervous system of a circuit breaker or an electric vehicle battery. Their EB welded shunts and thermostatic bimetals act as the sensors that detect thermal and electrical overloads. Switchgear and EV manufacturers pay a Shivalik bimetal because the cost of sensor failure is catastrophic fire, making the cost of failure significantly higher than the component price. So the company is currently undergoing a structural evolution from a material supplier strips to a solution provider assemblies. While volumes are sluggish, valve realization is rising as customers pushed by US tariffs transition from buying raw EB welded strips to finished components. This capture of the conversion effect is the primary engine of the current margin profile. So what the company has done right is its Pune facility execution. The new facility must hit 70 to 75 crores target in fiscal year 2027 to prove the forward integration thesis works at scale. And its US customer re-engagement. Marquee clients like Vishay must restore volume commitments to peak levels as the temporary tariff destocking phase ends. And operating leverage. The shunt business must stay above its revenue sweet spot to maintain 400 basis points margin expansion. So what can break in this company is silver price volatility. Sharp spikes in silvers and can disrupt margins, especially during the complicated move to a new factory. And Section 232 persistence. If US tariffs on Indian steel and copper, which is at nearly 50%, remain, the price competitiveness of Shivalik bimetals strip business is permanently impaired. And third is inventory bloat. The high capital intensity of assemblies could trap cash in working capital, further stretching the 250 plus day cycle. So, what are some highlights in this quarter which I observed? It's 24% EBITDA margin, a 400 basis points year-on-year expansion driven by a superior product mix rather than volume efficiency. And two, 134 crores revenue, which is up by 9% year-on-year, reflecting a widening gap between valve and stagnant 3% 9 months volume growth. And third, 63% component mix, a record high as the forced exit from low margin US strip exports accelerates the value pivot. Number 4, 20 crores Pune capex, a lean capital light entry into the assembly market with a potential 12 to 15 times revenue multiplier. Number 5, Section 232 impact. Management claims no business loss, but orders were minimized to avoid 50% duties, a temporary label that needs data backed verification. Number 6, 9.5% shunt volume growth anchored by 60% automotive and 35% smart meter exposure, a solid usage driven segment. Number 7, 5% bimetal volume growth. It reflects a flat domestic switchgear market and stalled development cycles in the US. And number 8, 2 rupees interim dividend, a signal of confidence in internal accruals even as the Pune facility operationalizes. Number 9, 250 plus day working capital and efficiency bottleneck management blames on precautionary inventory landing in December. And number 10, fiscal year 2027 guidance aiming for the 70 to 75 crores from the new assembly vertical, targeting 250 to 300 crores by fiscal year 2029. So the quality of this quarter's 9% revenue growth is high, predicated on conversion value rather than raw demand. So Shivalik Bimetals effectively making more money on less physical throughput. And its shunts and resistors, which is usage driven segment, remains the growth lead with 9.5% volume growth. Its 60% exposure to automotive and 35% concentration in smart meters makes it a high fidelity proxy for EV adoption and grid modernization. And thermostatic bimetal segment, which is cyclical and market linked, growth was more modest at 5% with 80% concentration in switchgear. This segment is currently tethered to a flat domestic industrial cycle. So the 3% 9 months volume growth versus the 9% value growth highlights the strip to component conversion. By capturing more labor value through components, Shivalik Bimetal is insulating its top line from the volume stagnation currently hitting global industrial peers. So, what is the moat in these companies? The moat is often described as 30 years of EB welding know how, but the real barrier is the customer approval side. So, its pricing power is very strong, which is a proof that its 400 basis points margin expansion despite US tariff headwinds and silver volatility. And the second attribute is retention, which is also very strong with 30 plus years relationships and components are safety critical and baked into the BOM. And third is technical complexity, which is also very strong because EB welding dissimilar metals with minimal current disruption. It's proprietary black box knowledge. And number 4 is scale, which is a mixed kind of a thing. It's dominant in India but small globally, currently attempting to scale via the Pune assembly pivot. So the claimed moat is the machine history. The real moat is the 18 to 24-month certification process for new parts in automotive and switchgear. A competitor cannot simply buy an EB welder and take market share. They must survive a 2-year regulatory and testing purgatory. So management is executing a capital light forward integration strategy that leverages existing assets. The margin bridge, so the mathematical bridge to the 24% margin is simple. The shift from a 37% strip mix to 63% components captures high value per added gram of material. By exiting this 50% tariff burden strip business and delivering finished parts, Shivalik has traded commodity volume for engineered margin. So the 20 crores Pune project focuses on the final assembly of bus bars and connectors for EV two-wheelers. So because the hard welding is done at sole and mother plant, this facility acts as an assembly multiplier with a 10 to 15 times realization increase per unit. The investment is funded entirely through internal accruals supported by a 2 rupees interim dividend. So coming to its balance sheet, which is a study in capital efficiency hampered by structural logistics. So its net working capital days are bloated at 250 to 260 days. Management's corrective actions, tripartite agreements for upfront payments, are tactical band-aids for receivables. And the real issue is the 180 to 200 day inventory lead time for imported materials. Until domestic sourcing for specialized alloys is established, cash will remain trapped in this cycle. And cash conversion, the December inventory buildup was precautionary, but it noticeably dampened the CFO to EBITDA conversion in this quarter. So the company's key con call highlights is, so the question is, we didn't suffer any loss of business as such in the US, but we saw substantially reduced orders. So here it says that customers are destocking to avoid the 50% tariff while waiting for clarity. Demand is latent, but the business is effectively on life support in this specific segment until March. So, what we expect to see is our US exports of shunts grow. It's a much higher value product. So, here the tariff acted as catalyst that forced Shivalik and Vishay to fast forward the shift of to components. This is a classic blessing in disguise for margins. And coming to its valuation scenario, in a bear case scenario, we can see a PE of nearly 15 to 18 times if US recovery fails to materialize and silver prices remain high and Pune facility ramp up delays and revenue growth stays less than 10% and the market derates Shivalik as a low growth industrial. In a base case scenario, we can see a PE between 25 to 28 times, which aligns with the current price, and with 12 to 15% revenue growth, assembly hits 70 crores in fiscal year 2027 and margins hold at 23 to 25% and US order volumes restore to peak by Q2 fiscal year 2027. In a bull case scenario, we can see PE re-rates to above 30 times if Pune scales to 300 crores by fiscal year 2029 and Section 232 tariffs are bypassed via the component pivot and EBITDA stays more than 24% due to massive operating leverage in the shunt vertical. So, what are the some key risks are Section 232 tariffs and geographic concentration because over dependence on the US market for high margin exports remains a single point of failure and silver price exposure and execution risks because the shift to assemblies requires a different organizational DNA and better working capital management than raw materials. And next is white label logistics. And next, stalled development, lack of customer openness to new bimetal part numbers in the US during tariff uncertainty could freeze growth for 12 plus months. So, what is the verdict if you ask me? The market is fixated on Shivalik's single digit revenue growth, but the numbers suggest a multiplier effect is being ignored. By moving from rupee 100 components to 2000 rupees assemblies, Shivalik is radically increasing its addressable wallet share with the same set of customers. So, some key checkpoints for the next quarter are US order volume and inventory reduction and Pune operationalization. So, some key triggers which can change the view are for a negative view, if EBITDA margins dropping below 20% would signal that the assembly business is significantly more dilutive than promised. And positive triggers are if official approval, not just application, of the ECMS and PLI grant for the assembly business, providing a non-dilutive capital boost. Hope you like this analysis. If you do like this video, please do like, share and subscribe to Murthy Finance Academy. If you have any questions, please do drop them in comments box and I will try to answer them. Thank you.